Alrighty, bro. Sans is back at it with another motherfucking video. The topic of this video is gonna be about it's not my first job, but I would say it's my first respectable job. Now, every job you should respect, but this is the first job that I'm actually proud of having because it taught me a lot of things, not just from a professional perspective, but also it taught me a lot of things about myself and what I'm capable of at a young age. This starts off when I obtained my enrolled agent license. And for the first tax season, I wanted to work at VITA. Honestly, I don't know how to pronounce that shit. It's either Vita or Vita, some shit like that. But pretty much it's where you go and you're a tax professional for people, but it's for free. Technically, you're not working. You're working for free. You're volunteering to do people's taxes. And typically, it'll be like at a fucking church. Sometimes it'll be at a school. Sometimes it'll be at a library. Those type of places. I'm sure if you're a tax professional, you've heard about it. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to do that. But then I saw on Indeed when I was looking for jobs, I saw H&R Block. There was a listing for it. And there was a few qualifications. You have to take a TKA exam. I believe that's what it was called. Pretty much an exam proving not just to yourself, but to them that you know some basic tax knowledge. And there was also this course that you could take. The way it works was there was a course that you could take beforehand. And then once you take the course, you pass that, then you take the exam. So they teach you the knowledge that you need to take the exam to pass, to be eligible for the job. Because in order to be eligible, first you have to pass an exam. Without passing that exam, you're not even eligible for the job. You need to pass the fucking exam, even if you're licensed. I was licensed as an enrolled agent, but yet I still had to take the fucking exam. So I took the exam, I passed it. It was pretty easy because it was online. I knew for the most part most of the questions, but some of the questions I just fucking asked AI and it helped me out. It was fucking easy, bro. It was easy because one, I had already become an enrolled agent, so I had already studied tax. And two, it was online at my house, so I could just Google the answers and shit. So after that, about like 3 weeks later, they contacted me. It was a while before they contacted me. They contacted me via phone. They said, oh, we're gonna interview you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, bet. Little interview. And so the reason for why, let me give you guys a little backstory. I've already explained for why I went into the accounting profession. I'll summarize it here. Long story short, why I chose accounting, why I chose tax is because I want to become rich. In order to become rich, you need to be around rich people. The best way to be around rich people is to handle the finances. How do you handle people's finances? You do their tax. Because if you do their tax, you need to know. It's not even optional. At a certain point, you have to know what they do for a living and how much they're earning yearly. So you get to know them on a deeper level. That's why I chose accounting / tax as my profession. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to be a tax professional. I got the EA license. And the reason for why I got the EA license is because I wanted credibility so that jobs will hire me. So I got the EA license and I applied at H&R Block and they hired me. Before they hired me, let me break down how I got the job. I showed up, had a button-up shirt, had some nice pants, had my fucking fresh cut, looking sexy. I walked in that bitch and this receptionist, badass bitch, bro. A big old butt. So as soon as I walk in that bitch, I'm already fucking nervous because I'm talking to the fucking receptionist, badass bitch. So I walked in that bitch, I see the receptionist, I said, hello, I'm here for an interview, blah, blah, blah. And she gave me like this resting bitch face, bro. I was like, damn, like you bad as fuck, but you must not like me. I said, whatever, it is what it is. So she went to the back and she told the office manager who I was gonna have the interview with and also the district manager. So I had the district manager and the store manager. Now the district manager, badass bitch as well, bro. Badass bitch. Now the actual office manager, I have nothing bad to say about her. She's a very nice lady. She's a little bit on the older side. I'd say mid-60s, early 70s. So as for her looks, I'm not gonna say anything about that. Very nice lady. I have nothing bad to say about her. So we got the receptionist, badass bitch. We got fucking Lisa, the district manager, badass bitch. And you got the office manager, Ramona, that's her name. So the badass bitch goes to the other badass bitch, as in the district manager, and she tells her, oh, Santiago's here for the interview. And she also tells the office manager, your future sexy employee is here for the interview. So she tells them, I'm chilling in the front next to a client of somebody else's. At this point, it's pretty much early in the tax season. It's like January, so it's very slow in the office. All you can hear is typing. I have one client next to me and that's it. So I'm chilling and the office is dead. So it's a little awkward and shit. I was just sitting there like nervous and shit. One, I was nervous because it was an interview. And two, I was nervous because I had the badass bitch receptionist. Then the fucking district manager comes out and oh my goodness, fucking big old bubble butt, bruh. Fat butt, bruh. Big booty. She greets me. I handshake her. The office manager also greets me. I say hello to her. Very nice woman. All of them were very nice to me, actually. The girl with the resting bitch face, even though she was a fucking badass bitch, she just has a resting bitch face for whatever reason. But she was very nice. She's like one of those girls who is a badass bitch and her face is pretty, but she has a resting bitch face when she's serious. But when she's not serious and she's smiling and she's happy and stuff like that, and when she's speaking, woo! Anyways, basically, they took me to the back and she said a joke. I forget what it was, but the office manager, I remember specifically, she liked me from the beginning because from the beginning she was like, you must have a kind heart, some shit like that. I forget exactly what it was, but at this point in time, it made me feel a lot more relaxed. Office manager, she's by my side already. Ramona, I love you. Now I just gotta focus on the district manager. So I gotta focus on her liking me. But meanwhile, while I'm walking towards the back, I'm not even focused on her liking me. I'm focused on her ass, bro. So continuing on, we sit down. So it's the district manager and the office manager. I'm chilling. At this point, I'm not too nervous anymore. And they're interviewing me and they asked me a few questions. One of the questions was, what made you want to become a tax professional? And I thought to myself, I was like, because I'm a fast thinker and I could think on the spot, under pressure. I could think very fast. So it took me about 3 seconds to realize that telling them, oh, I want to become a tax preparer because I want to meet rich people and network with them, probably not a good thing to say. That was definitely not a good thing to say. So I was like, oh, I want to become a tax professional because I want to help people reduce their tax liability. I want to help people because people, they struggle with money, and if I give them tips and tricks on how to save money for taxes, because I know taxes are a huge part of people's lives, I can help them reduce their stress about money and therefore they can have much happier lives. Stuff like that. I made it smooth and shit. And she was like, oh, okay. Meanwhile, she was all smiling at me. I was like, shh. I'm locked in. First question down. And I believe the next question was something along the lines of, what do you think is necessary for a workplace to have in order for it to be enjoyable? And I said, I'd like for all my coworkers to be happy, because if one of my coworkers is complaining, then all of the coworkers start complaining because your energy is very infectious. But I said it in a way where I wasn't talking shit about my coworkers in any way, as in my previous coworkers. I wasn't talking shit about them. That's the last thing you want to do in an interview. You don't want to talk shit about your employer. You don't want to talk shit about your family. You don't want to talk shit about your coworkers, because the manager or whoever interviews you, they look at you like, oh, so he's talking shit about his previous coworkers or his previous employer. He might talk shit about us or his coworkers that work here at this place, so we might not want to hire him. So I said it in a smooth way. I said, oh, you know what, I would like for my coworkers to be very happy and energetic, because I feel like energy is very contagious, and if people are negative around me, then I feel like that negativity is going to attract towards me, if that makes sense. So it's very nice working in an environment where the people around me are happy and they want to succeed in whatever profession they are in without complaining. But I said it very smoothly. It wasn't like in a dickhead way. It was very smooth, very polite. And so that's one of the things that I want you guys to understand. When you guys are walking into an interview, I was nervous for this interview, keep in mind, but within like 30 seconds, the nervousness, it went away. It goes away once you start. Once you start, it's over, bro. The nervousness out the window. You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck? You're already in that bitch. You might as well continue on. So when you start to interview, you have to understand that you have to come across as, number one is humble. Don't come across as cocky. People do not like cockiness, but you should come across as not egotistical. You should come across as a man who, or a woman who believes in themselves, right? People don't want to hire the extreme end. People don't want to hire the person who is scared of talking about themselves. Oh, you know what? I know a little bit about taxes, you know what I mean? But I'm still like a little nervous. I'm not too sure if I could do this, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to hire that person because you just sound like a fucking pussy. But at the same time, they also don't want to hire the person who comes across as a fucking complete dickhead, bro. They want to hire the person who comes across as an egotistical fuck. So you have to come off as not egotistical, but also not as a pussy. You have to come across as confident. Confidence is what's going to land you the job. Being humble, confident, showing them that you believe in yourself, not only in your current abilities, but in your ability to learn. And this is the most important one, the last one. You have to come across as polite. The main reason for why I got this job, I was very fucking polite. Very polite, bro. Especially with women, bro. If you're with two dudes, it's a little different, because when you're with two dudes, you have to come across not only as confident, not only as polite, but also as a man. But when you're with women, you have to come across as polite, but it's also very easy for you to come across as rude. Very, very easy. One of the things I did during my interview was I toned my voice a little bit down. When they asked me a question, right, they say, oh, how did you get your EA license? I said, oh, I got a course online and I studied very hard. And then I also practiced a lot of multiple choice questions. I used Hawk International to help me out. And then I went to take the exams at Prometric. I went to Camarillo. I went to Fresno. I took the exams. I passed them on the first time. It was a very nice experience. Truly grateful that I was able to pass them. And hopefully they're able to help me get this job. That's how I came across as. Very polite, very confident. But I didn't come across as a dickhead or egotistical. And I also didn't come across as rude. You have to be very fucking polite in this interview. Very polite, especially with women, man. So confidence, believing in yourself, coming across as polite, knowing what you're saying, knowing how to speak. Knowing how to speak is a big one as well. When I was in an interview, I didn't stutter once. I didn't stutter for shit. In these videos, sometimes you'll see some cuts because I stuttered. But in that interview, I was fucking spot on. When you're in an interview, people don't like hearing or They don't like hearing that shit. They don't like hearing stutters, or they don't like hearing, well, they don't like hearing that shit, bro. They want you to get straight to the point. So you also have to practice your speech. You also have to come across as intelligent. I know it sounds like a lot. You're probably looking at me like, well, this motherfucker wants me to do everything. But truthfully, I'll break it down for you. Be polite, practice your speech. When you're speaking, come across as you know what the fuck you're talking about. And also come across as when you do get the job, if you don't already know the knowledge, you're gonna learn it as fast as possible and you're willing to learn. That's pretty much it. Don't be an egotistical fuck. Don't be a dickhead. Don't be rude. And put your ego aside. And be humble. Sometimes it's helpful to be humble, and other times you can't be humble. If a plane is about to crash and your pilot is shitting out bricks, he's like, we're gonna die, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. Then you're gonna start shitting out bricks. In that scenario, it's very good for the pilot to not be humble. He has to be egotistical so that the passengers are calm. If he says, I got this, bro. Even though we're going down, we're about to crash, I got this. We're not gonna crash. What the fuck? I'm the fucking best. If he says that, then the passengers are calm because they believe in the pilot. If the pilot is being a little pussy and he's yelling out, we're gonna fucking we're gonna crash, we're all gonna die. It's over. It's fucking over. So it really just depends on the scenario. But when it comes to interviews, there's like a fine line that you can't break. You don't want to come across as too humble. If you come across as too humble, then you come across as a pussy. But if you come across as too egotistical, then you just come across as a dickhead. You have to come across as humble, but also as a man who knows what they want, what they know, and how they're gonna get it done. And honestly, if you come across as humble but confident and you know how to speak properly, then you don't have to be egotistical. You don't have to, really. I mean, at the same time, also don't be a complete pussy. Don't be a bitch. And they say, oh, do you think you're gonna be able to do taxes properly? Say yes. Yes, I am. You also can't be sitting there like, oh, maybe I might make a mistake or two here. Like, I'm really scared. I'm not sure. You can't come across as a pussy either. You can't. There's like a fine line, okay? I'm sure that you guys will be able to understand that fine line. Everything usually turns out the way you want it to turn out. Even when you think it's not. Once you're there in the interview, everything will come into pieces. So the interview lasted about 7 or 8 minutes. It wasn't very long. The bad bitch said, oh, we'll probably give you a call as soon as tomorrow, which was Friday, or Monday, because usually the weekends they took them off. So it was either the next day or by Monday, which pretty much guaranteed me the job. I was like, oh, I got the job then. She didn't tell me straight up. I guess they wanted to have a private conversation. For the most part, it was probably because of my age, because at H&R Block, most of the people there, they were like fucking 40, 50, 60 years old. They were old motherfuckers. There was no young person as a tax preparer. The youngest tax preparer that was there was probably like, I'd say 35. I was like the youngest one there. I think the people there, my coworkers, they thought I was like 24, 25 probably. They never actually asked for my age. They probably thought I was like 24, 25. Motherfucker, no, I'm 21, bro. They were looking at me like, what the fuck is this motherfucker doing here? But yeah, most of the people there, they were old heads, like 40, 50, 60. The youngest one was probably like 35 or some shit. So I was the youngest motherfucker there. And you know one thing I didn't like about H&R Block? My coworkers, the tax preparers, zero bad bitches, bro. I even imagined them. And I looked around and I said, how about if she was 40 years younger? If she was in her 20s, would she have been a bad bitch? And I thought, I was like, nah. I was like, not even when they were younger, bro. I was that shit crazy. Now I know that I didn't get the job just to try to get some hoes and shit. But it's nice when you have some good looking coworkers and shit. Because it gives the environment a better energy. It's nice when you're working with some bad bitches. But one good thing to keep in mind is that the receptionist, the initial receptionist, bad bitch. The 35 to 40-year-old bitch, she was fucking bad. But there was another receptionist who was my age. She was actually a bad bitch. Now, I wouldn't consider her my coworker because she wasn't preparing taxes. And I didn't really see her that often because she worked the morning shifts. I worked night shifts. But woo! Bad fucking bitch, bro. She was bad. Only problem was she had a fucking kid. She was around my age. I think she was like a couple years older than me, but she was fucking bad. But she had a fucking kid. She had a kid. I was like, ah. It's over, bro. It's over. Another thing to keep in mind that I forgot to mention is that there were actually only 2 males in the office. Me and some other guy. That was it. No other males. The rest of them were females. But my coworkers, even though they weren't bad bitches, they were very polite to me. Very polite to me. And here's another lesson that I want to teach you guys. And that is, you have to come across as fucking polite and humble across your coworkers. Especially if they're older than you. What's one of the laws of the 48 laws of power? Do not outshine the master. When it comes to the district manager and the office manager, they weren't preparing taxes. So I have no problem there about outshining the master. But with my coworkers, they were very egotistical. Especially with the young guy. Because they didn't want a young guy to prove them wrong, because we were in cubicles and I could hear them speaking and shit. And I could hear different conversations and I was like, that bitch is wrong. He's wrong. That bitch is wrong. She's wrong. She's wrong. She's wrong. I could hear it from other cubicles. Now, keep in mind, I was wrong many fucking times as well. Many times I was corrected, but they were also wrong many times as well. I could hear it, but I didn't correct them because 1, people don't like getting corrected by younger people, and 2, nobody likes getting corrected by the new guy. Nobody likes getting corrected by the new guy, bro. If you want to come across as a dickhead to your coworkers, correct them. Trust me, they will not like you. So, how to come across as likable to your coworkers? Be polite, be confident, don't prove them wrong. Come across as, I almost want to say dumb, not in a way where you're embarrassing yourself, just slightly more dumb than them. Don't come across as more intelligent than them. They're gonna look at you like, this motherfucker. They're just gonna look at you weird. That's just how people are. People look down on people who are younger than them, and they look down on the new guy, especially because you're younger than them. All my coworkers like me for the most part. They all liked me. I don't think any of them disliked me. 1, because I was quiet. I never really spoke to them. I spoke to a few here and there. 2, because I was polite, and 3, because I was confident in myself. The way I presented myself, I spoke very polite, and I spoke very kindly to them. And whenever I asked them a question, whenever I needed help, I said, hey, excuse me, do you think you have time to help me out with a question? I wasn't like, oh, could you help me out with this? No. I always said everything in a very polite manner. Always come across as polite. If you want to be likable, be polite. Never say things just like that. Never give commands to other people. Ask for things. Oh, hey, I was wondering if you could help me out with this question about tax whenever you have the time. It doesn't have to be right now. It could be later. Don't just say, oh, come help me out real quick. No, don't come across as a dickhead, okay? And as for my time of actually working there, the overarching lesson that I learned from working at H&R Block, to summarize it, is most people are living paycheck to fucking paycheck, bro. Most people are fucked. I'm telling you right now, the people who you see walking down the street, working at McDonald's or working at Jack in the Box, fucking poor, bro. I'm not even saying this to sound like a dickhead. I don't even want to be rude to them. But bruh, most people are fucking broke, bruh. There were people there at H&R Block trying to get payment plans to pay $800 to the IRS. Payment plans over a 6-month period. I'm like, what the fuck? You can't pay off $800 to the IRS? You need a payment plan? What the fuck is crazy? I'm not trying to come across as rude, but damn, bruh. Like, it's truly saddening to see just how people are struggling when it comes to money. Like, they can't pay off an $800 feet. Crazy. So that's the overarching lesson that I learned. People are fucking broke. They're living paycheck to paycheck. It's fucked up out here. I live in California. It's fucked out here in California. Everything is through the fucking roof. Groceries, rent, fucking car insurance, everything's fucked. People are really out here living paycheck to paycheck, fucking getting installment plans for $800. Sometimes I feel sympathy for them, but other times I'm just like, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? How do you not have $800, bro? On paper, they weren't completely broke. They were earning like 30, 40K per year, still living with their parents, yet they couldn't pay $800 off. Like, how? You probably don't pay any rent. Like, what the fuck do you spend your money on? Fucking beers on the weekends and shit, strippers on the weekends and shit. Crazy. So sometimes I try to sympathize with the clients, but other times I'm just like, you must be spending your money on something else. You must be spending your money on bullshit. But overall, it was a nice experience. It was a nice 3.5 months of tax season. For the most part, I had no clients that were dickheads to me. They were actually very nice to me. None of them ever yelled at me. I mean, there were a few clients that yelled at some of my other coworkers, but for the most part, for me, none of them yelled at me. I'd say I did like 75 to 100 tax returns in total. I never really ran into any trouble. Whenever I had a question, I asked one of my coworkers. It really taught me a lot. It taught me so much about life and other people's lives as well. It taught me about women, taught me about money, it taught me about myself, it taught me about customer service, it taught me about speaking with people, it taught me about how to be likable around your coworkers. A bunch of lessons, and eventually I will share those lessons with you guys. But yeah, the number one lesson that I learned: most people are fucking broke. Sometimes you just can't feel sympathy for them. Sometimes it's like you look at their fucking W-2 and they're earning a good amount of money, and you're just like, what the fuck did you send your money to? They have no kids, they live with their parents. What the fuck are you spending your money on? Now, for the people who actually have kids and who are living by themselves, let's say a single mother, and she has like 2 kids, she's stressing, she's pretty much damn near crying on the desk. It's like, okay, you can sympathize with that person. You feel sadness for them. But with other people, it's like, what the fuck? Like, you're fucking 25 years old, you have like 40K in your W-2, you live with your parents, you have no kids. What the fuck? You can't pay off $800? So it's very interesting actually working in tax. You actually get to learn a lot about other people's personal lives. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned a bunch of lessons on how to complete interviews. Overall, I just hope you guys learned a lot during this video. I guess I'll end it off on a good note. If you are lined up for an interview, whether it's H&R Block or for that matter, any job, doesn't matter whether it's H&R Block or any other job, but specifically for H&R Block, I went in there blind motherfucking sided. I went in that bitch blind fucking sided. I didn't practice any questions. I didn't practice shit. I went in there balls deep like a motherfucker. But online at the H&R Block website, if you are gonna apply at H&R Block, there's a few questions, interview practice questions that you could practice so you could get ready and so you could calm your nerves down. I didn't do that shit because I didn't even fucking know. I said fuck it. Fucking blind balls deep in that motherfucker. Fuck it. And it went well. But sometimes for some people it's very nice to practice. So if you do want to practice, go onto the H&R Block website, search up interview practice questions, and they should pop up, and practice some of those questions. And another tip I'll give is if you do want to apply at H&R Block because you want to be a tax professional, is you have to get some type of license. If you're older, if you're on the older side, not necessarily, but if you're younger like me, if you're 20 to 25, you should probably get some type of license because you don't have enough life experience. Even previous jobs, you just don't have enough experience from previous jobs at that age. So you need some sort of credibility. And for me, it was the EA license. I recommend that license for any tax professional to start off with because it's the easiest license to get for the highest credibility. It's the perfect balance. I recommend that license if you do want to become a tax professional, just to start with. Of course, you should strive to become a CPA, but just to start with, become an EA, just to have some sort of credibility under your belt. That's pretty much it. And like I said, this video isn't just for tax professionals who want to work at H&R Block. This video is for anybody who is going for an interview. If you have an interview, listen to the beginning of this video. The tips that I gave. Please be polite, be confident, don't be egotistical, come across as humble, but not as a complete pussy. Come across as I believe in my abilities, but I'm also not an egotistical fuck. I'm not arrogant. Come across as likable. Likability will get you very far in life. Without likability, you won't go anywhere in life. You're either likable or you're not likable. If you're likable, you'll make it far in life. If you're not likable, it's over. You're fucked. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it interesting. And Sans is done with his, I believe this is my 4th video. So Sans has accomplished 4 videos on life with fucking Sans. If you guys see any improvements I can make, let me know. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you guys like, subscribe, and comment. For any questions, ask in the comments. But yeah, Sans is fucking done with this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.